Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
To our viewers in Nigeria and across the world, I welcome you to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. Today, the 26th of December 2023. This is, of course, our Boxing Day special episode on Enterprise Morning today. Please do remember to follow us on all our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Enterprise TV 7. Press the notification bell so you get notified whenever we drop our content. Now let's go to our newspaper reviews this morning to see what the newspapers have. Of course, I can't do this alone because in the studios I have with me Mr. Cyril Abaku. He is a broadcaster, public affairs analyst. You're welcome to Enterprise Morning on Boxing Day today.
My pleasure.
Thank you for...
It's not the boxing of... I think it's more of yesterday was Christmas.
Christmas, yeah?
Boxing Day is the day we actually...
The day we open up our boxes and our special gifts and all that.
Gifts,
Yes, all right, you're welcome. You're welcome. So let's move on to our newspaper reviews today, and starting up with the Daily Trust newspaper. And the big story there says 145 killed as bandits attack 23 Plateau villages. And on the right there we have residents seek international communities help. Governor Muftwang urges vigilance. Take ownership of security, defense chief tells Nigerians. And on the top slip of the same newspaper, we have implementation of Tinubu's resolution, not a detriment of my freedom, Fubara. And flight delays cancellation wasn't as NCAA pleads with passengers. How Naira scarcity, devaluation, inflation orders dominated the economy in 2023. On the downslip of the newspaper, we have federal workers observe Christmas without December salaries. Wow, that's a big one. And also on the left slip of the newspaper, we have Kwankwaso holds special prayers in Kano ahead of Supreme Court's judgment. Kuka to Tinubu, you have no excuses. God won't forgive you if you fail. Mr. Cyril, let's dig a bit into the story on the downslip of the newspaper where it says federal workers observe Christmas without December salaries. Isn't this ludicrous?
I apologize for laughing.
Yeah. It's okay.
When people's pockets are dry and they're able to put food on the table, it's a shameful thing during Christmas that you don't have something to...
Really?
And you know, in Nigeria, it's not just a matter of what you eat.
Yeah.
It's a matter of those that come around.
True.
In-laws, friends, children of friends, and well-wishers, neighbors who come around to want to celebrate with you. But not take anything away from it. The federal government has not given an explanation why salaries are not paid till now.
But I guess this should be the first time we are hearing this. Federal workers of all people.
I am seriously flustered. I can't wrap my head around why salaries won't be paid. And nobody is giving an explanation. In the private sector, so in some companies, as far as I know, when salaries are delayed, they will even do a letter to explain why they've not paid and when you're going to be paid. Because it's your due, you work for it, okay? But the federal government has chosen to... Price of things are extremely... there's high inflation in the land. I believe me, by the time some people will take the salary already, the money is already gone. By the time the money is coming to you, what you probably would have bought for 5,000 naira a day before, will now be selling for 10,000 naira the day after. And then that is on top of the fact that there is already ground inflation on in the land. So people are going to receive the salaries and it will be really minor or something.
Now, let me bust your bubble for a bit. On the rider of that particular story, it says, we are not in charge of payment, HOS. It's being worked on, Accountant General, and officials blame technical hitches. Do you help us make sense of this?
No, it is not that. The machine couldn't have chosen to cook up
to stop working. It just
yes. At the time they were going to pay workers for December. Does the government feel seriously bothered about what's going on? If you want to know the truth, as the president has done for the CBN, he should also hire an investigator to check why the salaries are not being paid. Let it be an independent person that came to say, indeed, there was a technical glitch. Because if you check down the line, something untoward must be happening. How do you not foresee? How does technical glitch suddenly come up for a system that pays all federal workers? Do you get what I'm saying? That's a very serious issue. What kind of technology do they adopt to make payment? The technical glitch, is it for federal government or from the banks?
That is the
because
question.
You won't be the only one using technology to pay workers. People use it all the time.
And this is something they are used to. This is
so when is the technical hitch? Who is saying that, and where exactly is the hitch coming from? Is it the banks? Is from where? From where? Something must be happening somewhere that they're not telling us. You know, Nigerian officials have to take them with a pinch of salt. Honestly speaking, we've come to learn that on the hard way. So that they are saying there's a technical, that is their own story. But is that really the truth? That workers won't be paid before Christmas, and after Christmas they are still counting, you know. Somebody actually said to me that that's what they do every December, that they wait in fact they may never pay them until the first week of January. Is it because
are we supposed to have like an accruement of maybe interest or profit that will be shared by some other people?
So I think it's a pattern, and somebody must be made to account for it.
Oh, okay.
A lot of things just happen in this country, and they said we're not in a village. Somebody must account for it. So if this is a December pattern with federal government trying to say workers overspend and in January they don't have any money.
Oh, okay.
But are you the person to be telling them how to spend their money? Since when did you become the moral arbiter? Now that their pay has been delayed, will anybody account for the difference as okay, because of what you've gone through, we are giving you a bonus? These are the questions we should be asking.
And also, it's like those in charge are not even concerned about the economic implication, the little minute economic implications to all of this.
It is for this reason that next year, November, somebody will try to protect himself. You know what I'm talking about?
How do you mean?
Okay. Somebody will try to take from under the table what?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's not sure.
As protection, yes. As protection. I can tell you that whether you want to look at from the religious point of view, or from just a very simple administrative point of view, corruption is always a response to something. Corruption is not man's first natural instinct. It's a response to something. So we must deal with that that people always respond to. When Murtala Muhammad came in 1975 and said he was watching those people and said, all of you go home. When they managed to come back, what did they do? They said, so we can lose our jobs. Those who stayed back, those who remained was like, can we be sacked like this? Just somebody dismissed like that by the federal government. Those who remain began to, wise up, as it were, quote, wise up. That's how corruption deepens. So when you treat workers this way, they know, they say that month is coming. So ahead of the month, let us protect ourselves. Now you see that they have fixed 900 million naira to buy newspapers across MDAs. 900 million naira. Even if they bought 6 newspapers per day for 365 days, somebody said the money will not be more than 9 million. But they budgeted how much? A whopping 900 million naira.
Almost $1 billion.
To buy newspapers that people are reading on their phones.
And they'll just throw away. And nobody is saying about it. Well,
if they want me to help them for free of charge, I can send them newspapers every morning via WhatsApp. But you see, they don't want that. It is things like this that give birth to things like that.
Exactly. Now let's move to this other story still on the Daily Trust. I understand the fact that in Nigeria we are a very deeply spiritual people, but let's take a look at the story. Kwankwaso holds special prayers in Kano ahead of Supreme Court judgment. Now, how do we bring God into the actions of the judiciary? Into what? Can you help us make sense of all of this?
No, Henry, it's like the power situation. Are you aware that what you owe government or what you owe for electricity is to pay your bills?
Good, true.
And normally
light should be available.
Now, have you ever paid for more than what you consumed? I think yes.
Okay.
I think you've paid more than what you thought you consumed. I think you've paid and you didn't see light.
True.
I think there are times you didn't see light at all, but you still paid your bills.
True.
Okay. Who will you now call on? The government that is milking you dry or God?
But God has no business in all of this. It's basically a human factor.
You are still putting God away. Let me ask you, what strategy do you have to make the human factor to change and become better? Nothing. Even the governor of Plateau State was saying that people in Birom and all those Bokos, that they should pray to God to deliver them from the...
But come on, hey. I guess it's high time we need to think global, because if this were to happen in America, for instance, they won't be going to God.
The question is,
yes,
we are men,
yes,
we are humans, and those who are causing problems are also men, humans. Why are we not able to meet them on their top and beat them to their game? We've not been able to do that. Ojo Tatonito didn't do it. NSAS didn't do it. Even COVID didn't quite do it. Where I'm going to is
so how would God, how do you think God would, do you think it's feasible for God to come down from heaven and get to do for us what we ought to do for ourselves as Nigerians?
You haven't agreed to pray yet. Maybe when you pray, then you now, at least you've been trying one pattern for a long time. Why don't you also pray to see whether that prayer will change things? Because the last I checked in my Bible, somebody prayed and fire came down from heaven and burned all kinds of things.
Okay.
Or somebody took a stick and parted the Red Sea, so yes, we can pray. But I can't, personally, there are some things I know we've done for the past 20 years, for the past 30 years, they've not brought any result. People have become disillusioned. Okay. Because if you
so automatically God will come and allow our cashless economy.
It won't. If you pray for a week,
yes,
if you've been fighting for 30 years and nothing has changed, if you just pray for 1 week, it won't.
And
you
possibly the ATM without money would suddenly have money.
Nigerians don't tell you that hold your government accountable. Don't pray. But when you want to go on visa, I want to jackpot. I want to go interview. They pray and even carry water, put in their bag. When they go there, put rub on their head. You know. So let's not be hypocritical. Yeah. I'm not unmindful of the fact that something has to be done. Okay, but I think it's a matter of do what you can do and also pray. Because we've come to the point of saying what to pray and do. I know. But I also know we've been working for a long time. So let us work alongside prayer and then resolve. All
right, fine. Now let's move to the next daily for today, and it's coming from the Nation newspaper, and the big story there says probe into $500 million Union Bank acquisition widens, and the writer there says special investigator invites ex-CBN deputy governor orders. And on the top sleep of the newspaper, we have Fubara, Abuja peace pact, not death sentence. 50 killed in attacks on Plateau community. Federal government extend 50% rebate to non-luxury bus passengers in Abuja. Now let's make a sense out of the big story there. Probe into $500 million Union Bank acquisition widens. Please, can you take us back and give us the backstory here?
It's not widening. It is not widening. The president has chosen to appoint a private investigator
on everything
over the CBN when we have the National Assembly, Auditor General, and all these institutions to probe a body as sensitive and serious as the CBN. They've made some very, very widespread allegations, and even gone ahead to make let's say what's it called? The report is now trying to convict somebody whom the courts have not pronounced to be a criminal yet. Okay, so we must understand where this is going. The man's mandate, I thought originally, was to probe Emefiele's term at the CBN, right? Now we are hearing all kinds of things about Union Bank and so on. It's okay. You can ask questions. You can do all these things, but please let us be mindful of the way and manner in which the powers of the investigator are being used. I mean, this whole thing, somebody could simply go to court and tell you that all the powers he was exercising when we are not allowed because they're alien to the Constitution. The institutional probes that were undertaken by the National Assembly and other established institutions of government, and not somebody from the outside who's not within the system, just came and we opened all the books of the person. We can even ask ourselves, is this the first time this person is doing this investigation, and what were the previous ones he has done? Okay? So we must tread very cautiously and carefully. The investigation of the CBN, not a bad thing in itself, because of course we saw the things Emefiele did. But the question is, should it be a private citizen who is to investigate the CBN? Where in our laws is it even written that the president could do that?
But is it in the law? Is it in our constitution that a third party cannot be involved in investigating issues that needs
no? So where
special understanding
auditing needed to be undertaken?
Yes. Because I know too well that sometimes our nation invite foreign auditors to come and do some of this job.
So good, foreign auditors, not a foreign individual.
A foreign individual.
No, we had PwC.
Yes.
That investigated the NNPC.
Good.
And now came to tell us that the figures Sanusi were quoting were lies.
Okay.
Sanusi didn't do his accounting very well. The whole central bank governor couldn't do basic accounting. And said this the NNPC also amount of money had been stolen. It was not false.
Okay.
What the government do? They appointed a renowned, reputable auditing firm, an accounting firm, to undertake the audit of the NNPC.
Okay.
And they came and said that what Sanusi said $40 billion had been stolen or something like that. It was a lie.
So what you're saying invariably is that we would have invited the same foreign auditing firm to come do this particular job.
No, if you had wanted, first of all, why can't the National Assembly be the one to do the program? That's our law.
Is that the responsibility of the
oversight of the executive arm of government? Of course, oversight. Is it not because of the abuse we find ourselves in? Listen, if something happened at Tundumbiri, it is the responsibility of the National Assembly to form a committee. They will even do what's it called, public hearings. People come and submit memoranda. They will be the ones to now produce a report. The reason the National Assembly undertakes that task is the president cannot do anything without the National Assembly. All right? So the next time he wants to bring a budget, tell him until you've implemented what we recommended, nothing is going to pass. You cannot go without National Assembly now.
But come on, I and you understand the tendencies. But I and you do understand the tendencies of our people up there. We know that credibility is an issue. They will sit and all of that, bring in special committees to look at that, but it ends up nothing. So why not get a third party who is fair to come do this job?
The National Assembly was the one that declared the probe of Air Nigeria a fraud. Don't let us forget.
Okay.
The task needed to be done. You see, a lot of times, these probes come with reports. It is exactly our government that does not summon the courage. You get what I'm saying? To implement what the National Assembly has produced. Maybe where they have now failed is that they have not been able to also say, if you will not implement the committee report, then we are going to hold you down and government will no longer function.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't do that enough. But the question is, do they do their job? Of course they do. There are reports. So let's not say, so don't let us say that they won't do their work. They will do their work. It is up to the executive arm of government to now pick it up from there and do the carry with the responsibility. But you also have the office of the Canadian General. The question is, the times we even see now, you see that the report of the investigator leaked even before it got to the
got to the presidency.
These are the kind of things an organ of government that is so sensitive, where sensitive money is passed through. You will open the books up to a private citizen whose report leaked to the people said that the report leaked out even before it got to the press. How do you so do you not see the major weakness that this has got us into? And let one thing be clear. I will never invite a foreign firm to audit the central bank of a country. What have you then done? The president, well, he is the president. I want to assume he thought this was the best course of action to take. But even this action is not based on anything. Sincerely, I hope I have not just wasted time that somebody opened 500 and something accounts. Come on. And then said that, and then indicted the president, from former president's cousin, as being one that encouraged.
Who initiated the.
Wait, but if Mr. President signed off on it, you see, this is the problem with a private investigator. Does he not know the law? He's telling us that it was the former president's cousin that is to blame for the Naira design policy. The president Buhari came up himself and said he approved it. And you see, no matter who advises you, you may have 100 advisors, but the day you sign off on a policy, the responsibility cannot be on advisors. It is your responsibility, your government. You are the person with the authorizing power. Their work is merely to advise you. So if people advise the president to, and Obasa telling us that it was the president's cousin, you are turning this thing to village talk.
Exactly. So let's move through our last daily for today, and this is coming from the Punch newspaper. The big story there says 13 states plan fresh 2.3 trillion naira borrowing, and the writer there says states loan to hit 4.73 trillion naira. Abia, Niger to raise debt profile by over 200%. And also we have states engaging in reckless borrowing despite owing salaries, NLC. And on the downsleep of the same newspaper, just after the big story there, we have an image of army chiefs visit Sokoto, hail gallant soldiers battling insecurity. And at the bottom slip of the newspaper, we have Naira weakening to 1.233 per dollar at parallel market. And on the top slip of the same newspaper, we have Rivers PDP films as Fubara defends Tinubu over peace deal. Mr. Cyril, let's take a look at this. It's becoming, just like you did mention in our last discussion, a village talk, a village sort of a discussion. It says PDP films as Fubara defends Tinubu over peace deal. What is happening here? It's Fubara. Is Fubara suddenly becoming sympathetic to the president?
We are decivilizing Henry, but Governor Fubara hasn't surprised me one bit. I said this. I've been saying it. I know I've been a lone voice. The feelers, I'm from Rivers State, and the feelers I've been getting suggest that Fubara is not in count, but is willing. Yes, he is a willing party. He is willing to play along.
To play along with who? Wike or
no.
Tinubu?
With Wike.
With Wike.
And by extension.
Okay.
With Tinubu.
Oh, okay.
And at the peace pact that was signed in Abuja, I said he was going to execute to the latter. People thought he was. I can tell you for a fact.
So what could be the likely consequences of that? Is he remaining in power and becoming the puppet that people have assumed he is? Is that what we hope to see?
Even if he was a puppet, he won't be the first puppet to be a governor in Nigeria. So, but he is more than willing to just, let things flow, go the way they are, and without fighting anybody. He does not want to fight. He does not want to. He's very reticent. The elders called him. He was not willing to go along with them. I think about 2 or 3 different groups called him. He refused to say anything. He went to Abuja, signed the peace pact. He came back. He wants to be a loyal governor. But I can tell you that sometimes, because clearly he's not the victor here.
Okay, good.
And I can't call him a victim.
Oh, okay. So it's right in between there.
No. The victor here is Mr. Wike.
Yeah?
He is a loser.
Oh.
And he will realize that he didn't act wisely. It may take him some time, but he will realize it. It may take him a long time. It may take him maybe the year before the end of his first term, or if he gets second term, he may realize after he has left office that he could have been a man when he chose to be less.
But in a climate like ours, where, of course, his people and community, the River State people, might be shouting and hailing him, hey, behave like a man, behave like a man. But they say he who wears the shoes know where it pinches the most. So don't you think?
No, you see, he who wears the shoes, but I mean, he won't be the first one to wear that shoe. Those shoes have been worn in years past. By people who are independent. So it depends on how we want to define them. But people have worn those shoes in years past. That's why I said he will realize late in the day that he made a mistake with the way this whole matter was resolved. So you would have wished he would have gone, through the route of Amechi, who had issues with his godfather and was independent. Wike, who had issues with the godfather and was independent. So you are thinking that he also would have gone that route of having issues with his godfather and remaining independent. I won't call it that. I would have said that when he became governor of Rivers State, his godfather helped him, bought farm for him, did everything for him until he became governor of Rivers State. But you see, It's like marriage. I'm sorry, I have to use this
Yeah.
example. When you're, no matter, sometimes they say the family wanted their son to marry from a certain place or from another certain family that they've been close and so on and so forth. But once you are married, the woman becomes primarily your wife, or the man becomes primarily your husband. Isn't that so?
True.
You may have relations with your in-laws, but there is a limit. There's a limit to what they can do on issues pertaining especially to the two of you. Am I correct now?
True.
Because marriage is a very private affair. Am I correct?
True.
Sometimes children even go out of the way to say, I must marry this person, I won't marry.
Yeah.
And at the point the father has to say, my son or my daughter has come of age. I can't impose whom the person will marry on the person. Am I correct? So Wike has played his role of godfather up to the time the governor became governor. But from that he entered office, he would have seen that some things he had thought he could do were things he couldn't do anymore.
Okay.
So I'm not saying he should go and fight his boss, but he could. So he would have found a way to now balance what he was seen as governor and what was seen as godson. Of the two, they can't be on the same level. One must be higher than the other. That's what the governor should have done. Now, believe me, even in government house there, everybody around him will be acting in the interest of sycophancy. But I can tell you that he does not command the loyalty of even the ants in government house. He does not. And that's why I think he will live to regret it sometime.
Well, now, in just a minute, please, I would love you to help us make sense. What do you think that's the big story here, where it says 13 states plan fresh 2.3 trillion borrowing?
Story.
Help us make sense. What do you think is the limit to which states can borrow from wherever? I don't know. Are they getting that from the World Bank? Where exactly are they getting this fund from? Then what is the limit? Isn't there like a limit that the World Bank would say you can't go past this, so that governments who come can know, okay, the predecessor has gone this limit, I can go beyond that?
No, so there are thresholds to borrowing, clearly.
Okay.
Yes. And again, but what you need to understand is whenever borrowing has to be external,
Okay.
the state government doesn't just go to borrow. I think it goes to the Senate.
Oh.
That will look at it, debate and approve. All right, before the borrowing takes place. So that's one. So at that point, it's not just the state government. We're all as involved in it. But for domestic borrowing, the governor can approach any bank.
Oh, okay.
And tell them, this is a state. They will have allocation. The allocation doesn't fly from Abuja to government house. It must go through.
You go through a route.
Yeah,
a bank.
So
yeah.
Yes, when you know what I mean. So they can use that.
Okay.
So,
Fine.
Yeah. So that's what normally happens. But again, we've seen abuse. They'll go take over draft. They'll take another. But the point we made is all these borrowings just show that we have leaders who are not thinking. End of quote. They are not thinking. You can't. They've taken their thinking caps off because of allocation that comes from Abuja every month. They just believe they can take money anyhow they like. But believe me, if we told them, oh yeah, all of you, no more Abuja money, go and think of what you're going to do. They will assemble experts overnight and tell them.
Very true.
What can we do? You see, the Calabar Carnival now that is being
That's ongoing. Yeah.
That's a multi-billion naira adventure, if you ask me.
Yeah.
In the next 2-3 years, imagine what it's going to become.
Yeah, the money that will come into the system, the government, and all of that.
Sales alone, the sales of equipment alone, hats, bandanas, caps, shoes, all kinds of the branded, Calabar Carnival.
And advertising too.
Yeah, people that come and say, want to sell food, want to do this, hotels, everything, Airbnb and so on. Imagine the billions that are going to go into, and government may not even bring a couple out of that.
Exactly, very true.
People come. So what you've not done is you've not created an environment that can conduce to prosperity. And you're talking of going to borrow. I wish I had the power. I would block everything from borrowing.
All right, that was an exciting one, and it's just about the time we have on our newspaper reviews today on the Enterprise Morning. I'd love to say thank you to Mr. Cyril Abaku for being part of our show today.
pleasure.
And to you, our viewers, I'd love to say thank you so very much for also being part of our show today. But when we return, more than 145 persons slaughtered, hundreds more injured, and thousands displaced as kilohertz-men level Plateau village. We'll be right back. Please don't go anywhere.
Sunrise TV, a tradition of truth.